Finally, it's time for me to review Bakemonogatari. Such a weird, yet famous show. I was honor bound to finally make a video on this psychological harem anime. I remember watching this one for the first time in 2015. I was really confused and kind of uninterested in its pretentious artistic vision. I was more of a booze and female-ass kind of guy, so I didn't really appreciate the dialogue and subtle character development Bakemonogatari is masterfully displaying in colorful art style. Here I am a few years later, and I gotta say, I truly believe this is to be a legendary title. When it comes to originality, there's no other harem anime to compare with. So many artistic angles and weird animations that produce a memorable experience. I like the protagonist. At first glance, he might be just some average-looking guy, but the way he deals with all these weird dominant waifus really adds to his awesome personality. He's a dependable, altruistic guy, ready to help whenever he can, and even endures a lot of pain in his quest of solving the supernatural problems of his harem. This shows resilience and dedication. Having a harem king willing to risk his life for the girls around him is a great way to make a memorable, fun adventure filled with thrilling situations and character-driven moments. The strength of the show is that it combines modern issues of high school life with supernatural problems as they collide in form misfortune situation for our waifus. Before I address the mystical side of the show, I gotta admit this anime has some delicious waifus to light my eyes with. Some of the most iconic and hot anime girls reside in Bakemonogatari, like the class president Hanekawa, who changes into an albino cat girl after flashing her panties to the main character. She also only wears panties while in monster form, which adds to her mystique of her body. Also, what really makes this waifu stand out is the danger factor around them. Koyomi Arage is in constant peril whenever he tries to deal with these demanding girls around him. Senjo Gahara is yet another example of a fearsome, revengeful, and mean waifu. She's by far the hottest girl in the show, with her tall build, white skin, and long, straight, black hair. She's my type of woman. Also tsundere, as she herself breaks the fourth wall and admits it in the very first episode. The anime has a very artistic approach for the infamous harem genre. It feels like a show with style and even a bit of philosophy and psychological ideas combined with personal struggle and mythological entities of Japanese folklore. The first episode introduces us to Senjo Gahara, which is the brunette slender imperialistic type. It turns out she has achieved the dream of every skinny girl in the world. She lost mostly all of her weight and is light as a feather. I say this is perfect. I would love to be that easy to move around. Sadly, she is comfortable enough at 45 kilos, and now she wants to be back to normal. Kami Aragi is also a strange individual. His wounds heal instantaneously, kind of Wolverine, as he was bitten by a hot blonde vampire lady. Is now half-breed. Able to go back outside during the day, but still relatively immortal. The best of both worlds. When he exposes himself to the sunlight, he sparkles. Sorry, I just couldn't hold myself. I love Twilight. No matter what the haters say, Edward Cullen is the best vampire in media. And Robert Pattinson is awesome as Batman. Another kind of vampire. There are small hints here and there of how Aragi has become a supernatural being, considering his mark on his neck. We also get the blonde, lowly vampire to hang around and be fan service for certain demographics. Tajagahara asks about her identity and simply accepts the lame shady explanation. For someone who was worried about the safety of women, she simply allows a girl to stay with a creepy satanic dude in an abandoned building. Yeah, this chick is selfish and self-reluctant, like some rich beautiful girls are. The class president Hanekawa is the busty voluptuous girl, turned mean and aggressive by her alternative cat form personality. She kinda reminds me of the class rep from Yusuga no Sora, one of my all-time favorite anime. Also, I love how we get to see her panties right at the beginning of the show. The wind blows stronger than ever. We get a nice long view of her beautiful feminine hips and silky underwear. Now, from what I can gather, this Monogatari series is rather chaotic, and there are other titles from the franchise that serve as prequels, sequels, or even intertwined with the anime. But since this is the most popular one, I decided to check this one out. Not only that, but Bakemonogatari is an early release back in 2009, so I'm pretty sure we'll get the gist of it just fine by reviewing the show before the others. The anime has a cutting art structure, introducing us with a new character by referencing crucial prior events to make the story feel more complex and convoluted than it actually is. Some horny teenage boy interacts with the most beautiful horny girls from his class. He helps them deal with their supernatural problems linked to everyday personal issues. The premise is simple, but the show tries to them hard to be artistic with art style, constant slide of unrelated images, bright colors, and pretentious dialogue. If you like more straightforward storytelling and are bored by constant exposition, Bakemonogatari is definitely an anime hard to power through. The fan service is good, and if you actually pay attention, the dialogue is well executed and gives you numerous hints to better understand the waifus around the protagonist. This show has especially mastered the subtle character development,
確かになかなか立派な胸をしていたな。
but you have to invest yourself fully into the lore and story to get a closer idea of what exactly is happening on the screen. The ecchi moments make it all worth it while. Damn, those are some nice angles and slendericious female legs and hips. Sejugahara used to be rich until her mom decided to join some remix Sam belief cult, and the creepy old dude tried to put some moves on her daughter, which resulted in a family scandal, and now our former rich slender brunette is stuck in some shitty apartment where there's no commodities. Sejugahara is extremely hot. She's exactly my type. Mean, dominant, proud, arrogant, well beautiful and tall. Not to mention she has some cute boobs and lean silky skin. That man knows well she's the best the industry has to offer, and get plenty of shots of her provocative body.
そこをどいてちょうだい。服が取り出せないわ。
服を着ろ服を
What kind of confuses me is her casual way of dealing with exposing her nude figure to the main character. She experienced a traumatizing situation, and yet she's still willing to be so casual about her sexuality. I love this. It shows willpower, confidence, and strength of character to be so direct and fully expose such a wonderful body without being embarrassed of your own beauty. Usually waifus are overreacting when naked, but not here. I like the dominance and willpower Sejugahara has. Also, she's not enough to call Aragi a virgin to his face, which obviously was a fair assessment.
唾を飛ばさないで。素人童貞が映るわ。
認めましょう。僕は童貞野郎です。
We're talking about a harem king after all. Even Issei Hyodo is a virgin, and that guy hangs around naked girls every episode. Now, the nudity and the waifus might be amazing and all, but the strength of the show relies in the charisma and funny, interesting personality of the harem king, Koyomi Araragi. He was what is one of the greatest anime characters ever made, and I can see why. He is charming, innocent, fair, and most of all, kind towards the people around him. An everyday guy who actually sacrifices time and puts in the effort to help others. It is entertaining to watch him. Stumble his way out of a conversation and be honestly. And the honesty he presents about his thoughts and feelings really adds to his character. A perfect scenario to develop his weird but fun behavior will be when he tries to help a middle school girl find her way home, but fails to get her attention and ends up starting a fight, which he comes on top. The laugh of pride and achievement really emphasizes his immaturity and clumsiness interacting with other people, especially girls.
何が目的なんだお前は
This time the clueless harem king works perfectly, as he's at least interested in the waifus around him and tries to interact with them. He has his two younger sisters, which is a major bonus. Usually the main cat only gets one, but Aragi has two of them to wake him up and call Oni-chan. Also, Sejugahara is rather perverted with him. Even though she tries to become a love interest, she approaches him in the most direct and sexual way possible, trying to avoid her feelings by acting as perverted as a one can be. Bakemonogatari presents us with a lot of waifus. However, the dominant ones are Sejugahara, who seems to be the main love interest and the soon-to-be girlfriend of the main character. And there is also Hanekawa, which also keeps on making appearances regularly, which keeps on making appearances regardless of which girl has a spotlight in her respective episodes. We have lolis, tomboys, and leader sits alongside the class president and Slayer Tsundere brunettes. The most stereotypical cast of girls for a harem. However, what sets Bakemonogatari aside from the mundane average shows is the unique spin they take on its characters. I've watched my fair share of harem anime, over 50 titles by now, and yet Bakemonogatari still has plenty of originality and awesome memorable content to offer even to a seasoned ecchi veteran like me. I give Bakemonogatari a well-earned 9 out of 10. This is one of the best harem anime you can get if you are willing to accept a lot of dialogue.